Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman says that he plans on going with a hot hand approach for the Ravens backfield and that every running back on the Ravens roster will have a role. Drew, if you own J.K. Dobbins right now, how nervous are you?
I mean, if the rumor is true that he's going to do that, then I would be pretty nervous because it's a very looking at the roster, it's a very, very loaded backfield. That's for sure.
Loaded with names, at least. So to run
Yeah.
down the Ravens backfield, so J.K. Dobbins, who we know is coming off an ACL injury, Mike Davis, former Carolina Panther, former Chicago Bear, Seattle Seahawk, 49er, I believe he started his career with us.
Atlanta
Justice
Falcons.
Hill, yeah, Atlanta Falcon. Last year he was with them. And Kenyan Drake, the former Raiders running back, also spent some time in Miami as well. Alabama back, if I remember correctly. Very fast guy. All of these guys do a little bit of different things. Drake is a dynamic pass catcher known for his speed. Justice Hill and Mike Davis, a little bit of bruisers. Dobbins, obviously, he's a Ohio State guy, so you could speak
Mm-hmm.
more on Dobbins. I think a lot of people, when they drafted him this year, just thought, oh, the Ravens, what they spent second round draft pick on him a couple of years back.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, when they drafted it, Dobbins thought, okay, he's healthy, he's coming back of the year. He has a Q next to his name right now, but I think this guy could be the running back one in the offense. Another interesting note about this is Gus Edwards, who's also coming back off an ACL injury, said, I'm very close to returning. Now, Gus Bus is going to miss the first 4 weeks regardless because he's on the PUP list. But in week 5, if he's back, obviously you imagine one of these guys is going to get the boot, more likely like a guy like Justice Hill or Kenyan Drake. But one of these guys would get the boot in from the offense to allow the return of a returning Gus Edwards. Hot hand approach, that limits everyone's ceiling, because if these guys are just constantly rotating in, then you're really just going to hope you have the guy that lands in the end zone, which kind of makes them all kind of scary people to start. Now, they are going against the Jets this week. So I'm going to start J.K. Dobbins regardless. I'm going to start J.K. Dobbins against the Jets and just say they're going against a team that was one of the worst against the running back position last year. In fact, the Jets were the worst against fantasy running backs last year. So I might even say this. Mike Davis as a what the heck flex, or if you're in a deeper league, a running back, a 14 team, a 16 team league, with these guys like Mike Davis or Kenyan Drake might be the guy that maybe they land in the end zone. It's the Jets. I would say that that's certainly a possibility, especially if they run up the score on them. Either way, it just limits the ceiling. And now I look at J.K. Dobbins and I look at what can J.K. Dobbins be this year. He'd be a running back too. That's the ceiling for me.
I think that's a very fair ceiling to have because I was gonna pretty much have the same ideal as that he's more or less a running back too, and that's about as good as he's gonna get. Especially now with the news that everyone's gonna get involved. Apparently, what else can you do? I mean,
You get Gus back in week 5, then you're talking about a guy who's adept at stealing end zone touches.
yeah, I
So
mean,
that takes away touchdowns from J.K. Dobbins.
yeah, because you got J.K. Dobbins who can do that. You got now Gus Edwards, Mike Davis, who's a bruiser who can pound through his way through the end zone.
I
Then
could
you have
say
to
you could
fight.
have multiple guys with like 500 plus rushing
Yeah,
yards in this offense, and they'll probably be good baseline floors for you in fantasy football, but they'll never be able to touch the ceiling of running back one if they're just eating into each other. If Greg Roman is really playing this as hot hand, then you just really hope that one of these guys gets so hot that they just can't be pulled from the lineup.
yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, if one of these guys gets pulled so hot that they can't get pulled out of the lineup and they're suddenly taking 80% of the snap totals, then okay, that will be a running back one. I just don't see any of these guys gain enough time to get that hot. Because if you're rotating, constantly rotating in, then it's hard to really develop any kind of rhythm. At least there's a lot of guys that are considered rhythm running backs that need a few carries to kind of even get settled into the game. Dobbins, again, coming off the injury, I think is one of those guys. Mike Davis saw a little bit of that in Atlanta with him switching out with Cordell Patterson all the time. I don't think he really ever got to really be his best. Justice Hill, I think, has been a victim of that throughout his career, never really gained the opportunity to shine in this offense. And Kenyan Drake last year, you look at what he was doing with Josh Jacobs, I think same kind of deal. They were all kind of mid in those positions where they're constantly splitting carries. When they've been allowed to be the sole bell cow back, some of these guys have been really good in their career. Mike Davis, you go a couple of years back when Christian McCaffrey was hurt with the Panthers, Mike Davis was a running back one for a few weeks, but as soon as he went more to a committee role, he just never really kind of touched that ceiling ever again. And I think that's just kind of like what you would look at this Ravens offense becoming should they really go with this type of approach. And I don't think it's an uncharacteristic approach with Greg Roman. You also worry too. I mean, if you're any of these guys, like I said, Gus Edwards could still goal line touches, but Lamar Jackson could still goal line touches away from you. That's another key component of the Ravens offense. And I don't think it's going away. I mean, hell, they literally drafted Linderbaum, the center, earlier this year because they want to double down on the running game. So it's a good running game. It's going to be a great NFL rushing attack. I just don't think it's going to be a great fantasy football rushing attack because all these guys, they're either not going to get the end zone. They're either not going to get enough receptions. They're just not going to get enough carries on a given week just because all these guys, I mean, you can make a case for each of them to get touches.
Well, you can also make a case that Lamar Jackson still eats up a vast majority of those carries himself anyways.
Like Josh Allen, he's the running back one in certain respects. Damned if I'm going to tell him stop running because he's their most electric athlete on the field. So who didn't get a guaranteed contract. So we'll see how that drama plays out in Baltimore. All right, guys. Well, hey, if you are a Dobbins owner, how concerned are you? Are you picking up any of these guys with the potential of one of them getting hot, according to Greg Roman? Let us know in the comments. Leave a fantasy football question, any general fantasy football question. We're happy to answer it. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media at Juju Talk Sports, at Real Andrew Hagenbaugh. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. We will see you next time.